Hey guys, thanks for coming along and watching as our waifu of light guides us through our Shadowbringers level 71 dungeon, Holminster Switch. It's a pretty straightforward dungeon, but there are a few mechanics to look out for that you may not be familiar with, but I'll be sure to point those out. I'll be doing these dungeon guides with the trust system where applicable, since it's actually a pretty good system. Leaps and bounds above squadrons, and the NPCs do a good job of not being dumb even if DPS is a little low. Plus, the immersion of running with the Scions is pretty awesome. I would definitely recommend everyone try it at least once for each dungeon. First thing you'll have to deal with in this dungeon is the awesome soundtrack. Holy crap, this dungeon music is just incredible. But besides that, you'll have some typical trash mobs to deal with. Some nasty looking polar bears that were obviously rejected by the Coca-Cola company for their Christmas campaigns. Then you have some Sin Eater doggos to beat into the ground, but nothing too serious. After that, there's some Sin Eater Banemite things, but nothing to write home about. All the trash mobs are typical take and spank fare, so no big deal. The first dungeon boss is Forgiven Dissonance. Now I know what you're thinking. Isn't this Karibu from Amdapur Hard Mode? No. Karibu is apparently just a Sin Eater statue. This one's real. So, quick breakdown of Dissonance's attacks. Path of Light is an arena-wide AoE, so healers, be sure to adjust. Pillory is a single attack against the tank, so mitigate as needed. During Brazen Bull, she will throw out several orbs onto the ground that will send out a bunch of line AoEs. Find a safe spot and get in it. Gibbet Cage is a point-blank AoE, so keep out of melee range when that's being cast. Just find the safe spot and, get in it. Thumbscrew is a line-of-sight AoE that will usually overlap with part of the safe areas during Brazen Bull. You should have enough time for one of those Brazen Bull AoEs to go off before Thumbscrew, so you typically have time to move to one of those new safe spaces, even if you seem stuck at first. Wooden Horse is a large tonal AoE, so keep an eye out for that as well. After that, the mechanics just repeat with Path of Light, Pillory, Brazen Bull, Gibbet Cage, Thumbscrew, Wooden Horse, Thumbscrew again, Wooden Horse. Should go down easily enough. After that are some more trash mobs as we move up the farmland and past all the dead bodies and feather cocoons to the next boss, Tesseline the Forgiven. This is another straightforward boss. The Tickler is a tank buster, so mitigate as needed. Scold's Bridle is an arena-wide AoE for healers to adjust to. Fevered Flagellation is a mechanic you may not have seen before. Tesseline will mark party members with 1, 2, 3, or 4 dots. This will tell you the order in which you will be attacked. Just stay off top of one another and you'll be fine. Exercise will drop 4 ground AoEs as well as a split damage marker. Just stack away from the other ground AoEs to avoid too much damage. Once the ground AoEs and split damage go off, move off the newly formed spots on the ground. Other than that, there isn't too much to this fight, just an issue of avoiding repeated mechanics. The last wave of trash mobs will be initiated group by group, so there's no way to speed this up by pulling the entire arena at once. You're just going to have to burn them down group by group. Besides that, nothing special here, just taking out the trash as usual. The final boss is Light Warden Philia. Philia's attacks follow most standard mechanics, but there are 2 specific attacks that can be a real doozy if you screw up. I know I did. First off, we have Scavenger's Daughter, which is your standard arena AoE. Head Crusher is a tank buster, so be prepared for that. Pendulum is a mix of a single target and arena attack. Philia will lay down a proximity marker in the middle of the room, so get to the edges. Philia will then jump towards the tank for single target damage and then back to the center of the room for arena-wide proximity damage. Next, Philia will use Chain Down. This is similar to other Fetter attacks like Nidhogg Sable Price. One player, usually DPS, will be chained up, and ignoring Fleetwood Mac's urging to the contrary, you need to break the chain and break it fast. While you're breaking the chains, Philia will be casting Ether Sup, which is a large frontal AoE that you need to get out of ASAP. If you broke the chain fast enough, this shouldn't be a problem. Next, Philia will use Left Knout and Right Knout. These are both massive 2/3 arena AoEs on his left and right side, respectively, kind of like Omega's starboard and larboard attacks. If you just keep an eye on which arm he has raised up in the air, you know what side of his not to be on. Taphophobia will mark players with AoE markers, so make sure you aren't overlapping to avoid sharing damage. Into the Light is a straight line split damage marker, so, stack in a line. The big one to look out for is Fierce Beating. This is a rotating attack that moves pretty quickly. If you get too far around front, you'll get caught in Philia's front AoE, and if you're too slow, you'll get smacked by Philia's tail for heavy damage. Then these mechanics repeat. Just keep an eye on your AoE markers, and you should be fine. The boss will die soon, and you can enjoy the cutscene afterwards. Thank you for watching. If you got something out of it, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more Shadowbringers content, as well as more content from 14 in general. I'll see you next time.